Before we get into the video, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. A majority of people who watch my content are not subscribed, so it would mean a lot if you guys would. So take some time, hit the bell, hit the like button, and let's just jump into this review of the 2020 MLW Awards. So it's actually been a little while since the MLW released their awards, and it's all based on the fans' votes. I kind of wanted to break down each of the awards and my thoughts on them, along with who I voted for and my reasons, as well as some possible snubs. This is going to be in order of the MLW Awards video, so without further ado, let's just jump into it. So first up, we got Rookie of the Year, and that was Chris Cheatham. I actually voted for Chris Cheatham, so I was really excited for when he got it. It was a really tough year to be a rookie in the MLW because there's so many standout players from this class. I really think that Chris was the most deserving of the award due to the fact that nobody was consistent as him during the season and the postseason, and it was in both pitching and batting. And that's not to say the other rookies weren't consistent. He was just the most standout consistent player. He was there when his team needed the most, and the stats back him up. He's the only person besides Ryan Kratch to have an ERA less than 1 in the playoffs, and he had 6 home runs. He was also consistent during the season and helped the Gators get to the playoffs. Some of the snubs for Rookie of the Year are Chadwick, Jorgensen, Norp, and Saylor. I basically listed them all, but they're all pretty deserving. I mean, Jorgensen was really good, but it was clear that Chris Cheatham was the guy in the clutch for the Gators. Norp was really good throughout the season, and he's a popular personality, and I was actually surprised he didn't win. I think that's probably because his playoffs were a little underwhelming. Chadwick was great at the plate all season, but on the mound he did struggle sometimes. And Saylor was amazing during the season, and including a one-handed postseason. But I think his pitching was lacking, and so that's probably why he didn't win the award. I think the award went to the right guy, but I would have not been surprised if somebody else won. Next up, we got Gold Glove, and that's Drew Davis. Again, not really surprising since the mayor of the catch got onto ESPN, which is a pretty great feat. Yet you could argue that Ben Wilson was making more high-level plays consistently all season. I could definitely see why you voted for Ben Wilson. However, the one diving catch through the fence was great, and I was glad he won. However, I think there was a snub that nobody talked about, which is Mark Schultz, with his one-handed stone-cold grab in the Preds game. I mean, really, deadpan, he's not even worried about it, one-handed grabs, a home run. He doesn't even get up from his seat, and the confidence and skill it takes to do that is immense. But again, really, I'm just messing around though. Congrats to Drew Davis, and I can't wait to see more defensive plays next year. Speaking of Mark Schultz snubs, we have Most Dedicated. And Jimmy Norp won this award. I'm really happy that Jimmy got an award because I definitely think he deserves one, especially since he brought the Diamondbacks out of what seemed to be sure elimination from the playoffs. His willingness to give back to the community and go to tournaments and now take on a manager role is really awesome, and so I'm so glad that he's going to be part of the league more in the future. So my snubs of the year have been Mark Schultz and Brendan Schultz, because Brendan Schultz did some great work with the ALNL All-Star Game, and I thought it was really great to see that, so that's probably my 2 snubs. But still, congrats to Jimmy Norp for winning the award. Next up, we got Manager of the Year, and that's Brendan Zerlag. I think that Brendan Zerlag had the most impactful draft picks this year, obviously since they won the title. However, I mean, he did it off of a number 1 pick who's supposed to be good and a number 6 pick. And in a stat class, he almost couldn't go wrong. In all reality for Zerlag, if Norp or Saylor or Bonham or Chadwick falls to him, I really think that he still makes a good choice, let's be real. I mean, in reality, Zerlag really couldn't have gone wrong. It could be argued that the free agent pickups that Jack Agner and Gavin Nareski made were more impactful for the season, especially since Jonah Heath and Liam Jackson helped lead their respective teams to the playoffs. I think the success of the Gators really shows that Zerlag probably should have won this award, and I think the fans made the right decision this year. Next up, we have Most Clutch, and that went to Chris Cheatham. Again, I'm not too surprised since he did have a ton of clutch home runs in the playoffs when it mattered the most, but I also think there were some notable snubs. Nick Saylor for Most Clutch, I think Ryan Kratch could have won, Alec Warda could have won, Jonah Heath could have won, but honestly my vote went for Dan. I mean, without his home runs, the Eagles don't make the playoffs. So I really thought he should have won, but he didn't. All of these guys had clutch home runs and or pitching shutdowns to win games during the season, and some in the postseason. But again, due to the World Series being so impactful, I'm really not surprised that Cheatham won. Now to Silver Slugger, and that award went to Nick Saylor. I mean, even though Cratch had more home runs, Nick Saylor was raking all season. I think he deserves a ton of merit for that. And not only that, he was doing it with one hand in the playoffs and having a .250 average. So I think he's totally deserving of the award. I think Kyle or Cratch could have won the award because they were also up there in terms of stats, but I really think that Saylor was the right choice for the award, so I have no problems with that. Now on to Most Improved, which went to Chris Cheatham. Here's kind of where I shrug my shoulders and go, okay. I guess in my mind, I thought the award should have gone to somebody who improved from 2019 to 2020. And I guess you could also extend that to also during the season. You know, the first half of the season wasn't that good, and then the second half was great. The regular season was that good, and then the postseason was great. And I get it, but I really thought that it could have gone to two other people, no offense to Chris, that were a little more deserving. I think one is Andy Durand. I mean, Andy Durand from 2019 to 2020 had a huge improvement. I mean, it was definitely worth the trade for the Cobras to get Durand. He came out and had so much offensive impact for the Cobras. I mean, I think he had like half of their RBIs. And even though they did lose, I really thought that he was such an improved player. And if you want to say, okay, well, it's during the season. Well, I still think that Alec Warda had a bigger improvement than Chris Cheatham. I know Chris Cheatham did up his production, but I think that Alec Warda going from a 182 ERA into the playoffs, he basically really helped the Preds even have a chance to be winning those games against the Wildcats. I felt like this performance was definitely worthy of Most Improved if you look at it from a season perspective. But again, nothing to take away from Chris Cheatham. He definitely has the stats and the ability to show that he deserves the award. I just think that because he already won the Finals MVP, that it probably should have gone to somebody else. So, yeah. Cy Young went to Ryan Cratch. I was on a podcast with Mallards Y. Shout out to Mallards Y and the MLW Y network. You should go check them out and follow them in the description. I had a conversation with him about Cy Young, and he was saying that Kyle Schultz should have won. I could definitely see the argument for it, because Kyle Schultz did have a lower ERA. I mean, it's Kyle Schultz. He did have a great season. It's hard to say because Cratch did play more innings. He set the MLW record for strikeouts, which I think should be rewarded for itself. I definitely understand that Kyle Schultz is a transcendent player, and he's the best to ever play in the MLW. But I really think that having the most strikeouts is a pretty notable thing to have. He had to pitch a lot of innings for it, but he definitely deserved that. So I could definitely see the argument for Kyle, and there's no reason that no one should say, oh, Kyle should have won that, because really in reality, Kyle could have won every single award this year. It's just a miracle that he didn't. I think that, again, I think the argument for me is that Cratch should be recognized for the season he did have. And even though that it wasn't a most amazing playoffs, I really think that Cratch was putting his team in the position to win every game, and even when they were underperforming. I think Ryan Cratch is pretty deserving of the award. So for MVP, we had Kyle Schultz, and of course, there's no surprise here. No one has as much impact or ability to change a game as Kyle Schultz. I'm sure that out of the players this season, his wins above replacements, or whiff war, was the highest. I'm really excited to see MLW Wiffle Fans video on it. Really, Kyle is just such a great player. I mean, unless he has a terrible season, there's no one else you want on your roster. Like, if you're building a roster for the MLW, your first pick is Kyle Schultz. There's no doubt about it. Again, not surprising, and he'll be the favorite to win it next year in all reality, unless somehow he has a bad year, which I really don't see happening. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. Let me know what you thought of the awards in the comments. Who got snubbed? Did you agree with my picks, or did you disagree? Let me know. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.